There you go. Great. Thank you, Katie. The gathering song is number 34, Though I May Speak with the Bravest Fire. We gratefully acknowledge the native peoples on whose ancestral homelands we gather, as well as the diverse and vibrant native communities who make their home here today. We respect the Abenaki spiritual relationship to the land and waters of the Champlain Valley and aspire to learn of their history and culture. Good morning. Yes, welcome to Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. CVUUS is a church that sustains a liberal religious tradition, aspires to be visible and active on behalf of social justice and environmental responsibility, nurtures and empowers us at all ages on our spiritual journeys, and reaches out to the larger communities of which we are a part. Welcome to all those who are here, and to those too watching remotely on this 5th Sunday of September, the end of the first full week of autumn. September is the second best month of the year in Vermont in terms of our forced seasonal climate. We've had a beautiful September, and October arrives on Tuesday. October is the third best month in my taxonomy of the months, ranking so high because of the stunning beauty of the foliage. But it's a melancholy month because it precedes November, the 12th best month. As it introduces the slog of the next 4 months afterwards. So, I enjoin you to enjoy this beautiful time of year, even if it just means sitting out in the sunshine on a day like today. I'm Karl LIndholm, a member of the worship team, and I'm assisting our service leader today, Tom Morgan, who is our community ministry and hybrid intern. And his service today is titled The Story of a Life. This is a good time to adjust your phone if you haven't already. I'm always happy to be reminded of that. If you're visiting, please sign the guest book in the foyer so we can send you some news of our activities. And all, do stay after the service for snacks and friendly conversation downstairs in the Ann Ross Fellowship Room. Today we have an ice cream party put on by the kids. Many different toppings and non-dairy alternatives. If you have a milestone or passage, you may complete a yellow card and get it to me by placing it in the offering basket. At 11:30, we will congregate back here in the sanctuary for a conversational conversation that Tom will lead on community ministry. Thanks for the tech people today, Margie and Jordan, and to Wesley on the camera, and others who have participated in the service to this point. There are many pathways to connection here at CVUUS, activities and events in addition to Sunday services that bring us together as a community. In the service, we will cite the most imminent events. There's more complete information always in the weekly blast that comes out on Wednesdays. Today, from 4:30 to 6, you may join our own Esther Charleston and Governor Howard Dean here at CVUUS for Practicing Democracy Women in Public Office, a free, nonpartisan event to learn how we can all better engage in our democracy as citizens. And next Sunday, let's hope it's a day like today, is the annual Crop Hunger Walk to end hunger in our communities. And also we have an announcement that Marnie and Andrea will be doing about our Radical Love event. Yes, Pathways to Connection.
Good morning, everyone. You may not be surprised that actually when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. Some things never die. So Andrea and I are part of the team that is working to produce one of the most fun realities at the, well, lots of fun realities at this CVUUS, but anyway, this is about our Radical Love Exchange, where we bring ourselves together in so many different ways, and we want you to think about a way in which you might share something you do well, something you don't do well, but bringing people together so that we can get to know one another in a really appropriate, further bonding way here, as well as to raise some money for our amazing building here, and congregational activities. So we encourage you to speak to Mike Greenwood, Liam Batches Greenwood, Mary Hadley, Andrea, Marnie. Give us your ideas of what you want to put forth. I was looking at the statistics, and last year, 77 of us managed some way in which to gather over food or around food. That worked, obviously. So Andrea has a song for you to entertain today. Please speak to us in whatever way, both in person or text messages and emails, and let's get this rolling. That's what we're doing this month, and it will culminate on November 3rd with a lunch and the winners of the various things that you get to put a ticket in for. Enough? Goodbye, Marnie.
Thanks, Marnie. So when Marnie said how do we get people interested? I said, well, I use a lot of words anyway, so if I'm going to use words, I might as well sing, and that's one of my love languages. So I made up a little ditty, which is, we sing at our preschool all the time, so I'm hoping that you will also sing with me, and I'm going to teach it to you, so it's super fun. It's very easy. The part I want you to sing with me is, it's to the tune My Roots Go Down. I don't know if you know this song, but it's really great. So what we're going to sing is... our roots go... let me just get this. Okay. Yep, okay, here we go. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down to the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Super easy. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down to the earth. Our roots go down. Our roots go down. That's it. You will get it. I'm going to do this a few times. So here we go. This rad love thing is kind of new to me. Marnie and Mike tell me the tickets are really free. There are gifts of head, hand, and heart. So I guess that's where I'm gonna start. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down. The way it works is that we offer gifts of us, big or small, there's no need to fuss. Through them we connect our hearts, and it's rad when everyone takes part. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down. It's set up to include everyone, 'cause giving and receiving are both really fun. Infinite ways you can offer something wild, like Elio's logo that really makes us smile. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down. So folks, let's give this a try. I hear we've got movie nights, painting lessons, and rhubarb pies. Silent auction items to raise some bills, or plain old cash to give the board a thrill. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down, down into the earth. Our roots go down. Thank you.
Now let us worship together. As Amaya and her dad, Tom, lights the flaming chalice, symbolic of Unitarian Universalism, please read along with me the words on your screen. We light this flaming chalice as a symbol of gratitude for our being in this sanctuary. May this light illuminate our vision as we make our way together on our journey toward peace and justice for all.
Amaya has lit the chalice so often she does not need my help. Today's call for worship is entitled "Justice is Our Prayer" by the Reverend Rebecca Savage. We gather together today with sacred intention to declare that justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that is possible not here, not quite yet. The seeds have been planted time and again, and we remember those who went before us that made beloved community in our time a dream that could be realized. Justice is our prayer. May our time together continue to water the budding trees and our diverse interdependence. May our collective spirits that need to grow and thrive in order to embrace equity as known be known in our being. Justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that is possible. May it be so. Let us worship together now with hymn number 97, Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. It's time for all ages, and Irena will guide everyone. And do you want to have the children come up front? Have the children come up front, maybe in these chairs over here would be great.
So I have something very important to ask all of you. Have you stretched today? Anybody? No? You have? Fantastic. So I try to stretch every day, but this morning was kind of busy, and so I didn't get a chance to stretch, so I thought maybe we could all stretch together, okay? Okay, great. So I invite you to stand if you're able, or you can continue to sit, your choice. So either stand or sit. So I like to start my stretches with some breathing. So we're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth or our nose, your choice. So let's take a nice full inhale. And imagine you're filling up a balloon in your belly, and then exhale either through your nose or your mouth. And let's do this again. Inhale. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose or your mouth. And now I want you to close your eyes and just take a moment and breathe. And then I want you to bring your chin to your chest. So you can open your eyes if you need to look at me, although it's hard to look at me with your chin at your chest. And so just hold your head here and continue to breathe and just notice how the weight of your head stretches the back of the neck. And it probably feels pretty good. And now with your next inhale, I just want you to roll your head to your right shoulder. So now hold your head here, continue to breathe, and notice how the weight of your head stretches the left side of your neck. And take another inhale, and let's roll our heads back to center, chin to chest. And then with your next inhale, slowly roll your head to your other shoulder, your left shoulder. Hold your head here, continue to breathe, and notice how the weight of your head stretches the whole side of your neck. And let's take another inhale and exhale, chin back to center. And now with your next inhale, I want you to bring your head back up. And let's do some shoulder rolls. So I want you to bring your arms by your side. And with your inhale, I want you to inhale and bring your shoulders up to your ears and exhale them back and down. And let's do this again. Inhale, shoulders to your ears. Exhale, back and down. And let's do it one more time. Inhale, shoulders to ears. Exhale, back and down. Nice job. So I'm going to have to put the mic down for this next one. All right. So now I want everybody to inhale your arms up straight in front of you. Interlace your fingers. Inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to press your arms away from your body and feel that nice stretch in your back. You might feel your scapula separate. Breathe here. And now take another inhale and turn your palms away from you this time. And let's exhale and press your arms away from you again. Feeling that nice stretch under your shoulders and your upper back. And let's inhale again and let's exhale and release. And now go ahead and bring your arms behind you. Interlace your fingers. With your inhale, press your arms down and away from you, and now you'll feel that nice stretch in your chest. Feel your heart open, look up. Open your heart to the sky. Take another inhale, and let's exhale and release. All right, we're gonna do one more thing. So with your next inhale, extend your right arm straight up next to your ears, and imagine that your fingertips are just about to touch the ceiling. You're reaching. Inhale. Now keep your arm extended, and as you exhale, just bring your shoulder back down into the socket. And now let's take another inhale, and with your exhale, you're going to gently fold to the side, feeling the stretch going all the way down your arm, down the length of your leg. And now with your next inhale, let's come back to center. And exhale, bring that arm down, and let's do this on the other side. So inhale, your left arm straight up next to your ear, stretch to the ceiling. Fingertips are just about to touch the ceiling, and now inhale and exhale. Keep the arm extended, but bring the shoulder back into the socket. And let's inhale and exhale, fold to the right. And with your next inhale, come back to center. And exhale, bring your arms back down. And we're going to do one last thing. We're going to send somebody some love and kindness. So I want you to put your hands on your chest. And I invite you to close your eyes. And I want you to think of someone in your life, a family member or a friend, or maybe someone in your school who might be having a hard time. Maybe they're sick, or they're just not feeling good, or maybe they're just sad. And I want you to imagine that person's face. And now I want you to repeat after me. I wish you to be happy. I wish you to be healthy and strong. I wish you to feel safe and loved. All right, open your eyes. Thank you for stretching with me.
Thank you, Irina. Certified yoga teacher training comes in handy once in a while. So we've arrived at that time in our service when we express our generosity through our offering. CVUUS is proud to be a sponsor of this year's Mid-Pride on October 12th, celebrating and expressing our solidarity and love for the LGBTQ members of our community. And so today, Mid-Pride is our donee. The offering will now be gratefully accepted.
We have milestones and passages at this point. After a week of living, we ask those who have special concerns or special news or joys. We used to call this joys and concerns, milestones and passages, and I have 3 yellow cards. From Ellen Flight, I feel very grateful to live in a state where ballots are automatically sent to all registered voters, and where, if and when we go to the polls, we know our neighbors who are running the elections voting. We know our neighbors who are there running the voting. Thanks to all of our poll workers. We have two from Marnie Wood. Marnie Wood is grateful that my sister in South Carolina is safe after the winds of Tropical Storm Helene. She's concerned, as we all are, I'm sure, for all those who are suffering from Hurricane Helene. And Marnie writes also that September 27th, 2009 was a major celebration for this congregation. We dedicated this amazing building and fulfilled our desire to have a Unitarian Universalist presence in Addison County. With gratitude every time I walk into this building, I wish to thank those who made this happen. Strong and steady supporters, too numerous to mention, who worked with our settled minister, Johanna Nichols. Congratulations, CVUUS. And I would add one. Now, Paul, you and Francis took a trip last week.
We did.
Where did you go?
Baseball Hall of Fame, Cooperstown.
Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. Did you go to the Farmers Museum too?
No, drove by it.
Drove by it. I thought maybe a farmer would go to the Farmers Museum, but he preferred the Baseball
I
Museum.
have a museum at home.
You'd say, there you go. But Stone's companion for that trip, Francois Clemens, is home with COVID today. So if Francois is looking in, we wish him well and a speedy recovery. Sounds like a great trip.
And Francis has COVID.
Oh, okay. Well, we hope for her too to have a speedy recovery. Now there are other joys and concerns and milestones and passages that are unstated today but are in our hearts. So let's take a brief time for silent contemplation and prayer.
Today's reading is from the book All About Love by Bell Hooks. Love heals.
When we are wounded in the place where we would know love, it is difficult to imagine that love really has the power to change everything. No matter what has happened in our past, when we open our hearts to love, we can live as if born again, not forgetting the past, but seeing it in a new way, letting it live in us in a new way. We go forward with the fresh insight that the past can no longer hurt us, or if our past was one in which we were loved, we know that no matter the occasional presence of suffering in our lives, we will return always to remembered calm and bliss. Mindful remembering lets us put the broken bits and pieces of our hearts together again. This is the way healing begins. Love redeems. Despite all the lovelessness that surrounds us, nothing has been able to block our longing for love, the intensity of our yearning. The understanding that love redeems appears to be a resilient aspect of the heart's knowledge. The healing power of redemptive love lures us and calls us toward the possibility of healing. We cannot account for the presence of the heart's knowledge. Like all great mysteries, we are all mysteriously called to love no matter the conditions of our lives, the degree of our depravity or despair. The persistence of this call gives us reason to hope. Without hope, we cannot return to love. Breaking our sense of isolation and opening up the window of opportunity, hope provides us with a reason to go forward. As a culture, we are obsessed with the notion of safety. Yet we do not question why we live in states of extreme anxiety and dread. Fear is the primary force upholding structures of domination. It promotes the desire for separation, the desire not to be known. When we are taught that safety lies always with sameness, then difference of any kind will appear as a threat. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. The choice to love is a choice to connect, to find ourselves in the other.
A reading from the Gospel of Bell Hooks. Amen. Many years ago, a congregational member came up to me after I delivered a lofty Sunday sermon and said, "Thanks, but next time, just tell us a story." As humans, storytelling, according to the Israeli historian Yuval Noah Harari, is our superpower. Stories can illuminate the world around us. They can invite us to rediscover our purpose, to discern the value in relationships, and connect us with that which transcends our individual lives, clarifying what's valuable and true. So today I'd like to tell you a story. It was a crisp autumn morning as another outreach partner and I walked down North Pleasant Street on our regular Tuesday morning rounds. As we passed the town green, we noticed something long and blue. "Looks like someone slept in the gazebo last night," my partner said as we walked across the lawn toward the large blue sleeping bag. "Hey, good morning," I said as we walked up the steps. "Good morning," it replied. I knelt down on the gazebo floor. "I'm Tom, part of our area's outreach group. You must have gotten cold here last night. Can we get you some coffee?" "Yeah, it's cold, but I'm okay," the man said. As he opened his sleeping bag to put on his glasses, I noticed a couple of things. One arm of the glasses was missing, and pressed up against the torso of his sleeping bag were his backpack and what looked like a brass urn. "Okay," I said. "No fun to sleep on the cold, hard floor, though. Would you like to come over to the shelter across the street and get warm, maybe get some coffee or something to eat? You'd be welcomed." "Maybe later," he said. Now that he could see me, he reached out his hand. "Mind if I ask your name?" "Jesse," he said, as he reached out his sleeping bag to shake my hand. "Nice to meet you, Jesse." We're headed downtown, but we'll swing back by and check on you in a few minutes if that's okay. Okay, said Jesse, still trying to focus on my face. After our rounds, we returned to the green and saw Jesse sitting on a bench with his sleeping bag and backpack and holding the urn. My partner headed back to his office, and I walked over to Jesse. He was gazing in the distance in a way that I instantly recognized. It's what us combat veterans sometimes call the 1,000-yard stare. It's a look of longing for a different time and a different space. Hey man, mind if I sit? I said. No, he said with a kind glance and a weak smile. Then in response to my, how's it going? Jesse proceeded to introduce me to the reality of his life. The brass urn contained the cremated remains of Jesse's wife, Cheryl. Cheryl had died a couple of months earlier after a brutal fight with cancer. She was a healthcare worker and worked until she no longer could. Jesse had worked in construction but was disabled after having his neck broken in a car crash a year prior in Arizona. About the crash, I learned that Jesse had flown down there to spend some time with his father who was dying. Jesse and Cheryl had saved some money for the flight in a rental car. Jesse's moral compass told him that he had to go see his dad, despite having a strained relationship with him ever since Jesse, who was black, had married Cheryl, who was white. Trying to do the right things just didn't seem to matter to the forces that conspired, first, for Jesse's rental car to be struck by an uninsured motorist, and second, for him to be declared at fault by a system that seems to have ignored the facts of the incident. One of the many parts of the system that failed this man. This one proceeding from the irrefutable charge that Jesse was guilty of driving while black. Yet even while carrying the weight of all the systemic injustices, the troubled relationship with his dad, the medical and legal bills, through it all, Jesse had the love of Cheryl. He smiled as he told me what it felt like to come out of spinal fusion surgery in Tucson a couple days after the crash to see Cheryl sitting next to his bed, having flown in to be with him. Cheryl's love was the balm for Jesse's injuries and injustices. And then Cheryl got sick. And then she was gone. And the paycheck stopped. And then came the eviction notices. And then the streets. And eventually a town green in our community, where Jesse held tight to what was left of the best thing that had ever happened in his life. Jesse and I walked up to the shelter and got him some coffee and a sandwich and sat down at a large dining table. Our shelter was full, as are all the shelters in Vermont, but I knew that the grief and sense of loss that had seized Jesse inhibited even basic social functioning that could imperil his survival outside. I asked Jesse if he might, rather than sleeping outside, consider sleeping in shelter on a night-by-night basis, where our staff converted the dining room to an overflow space, making room for 5, 6, or 7 desperate souls at night. Jesse was not quick to take me up on the offer. He had experienced homelessness outside long enough to know that as racist and cruel as people could be on the streets, substance use, untreated mental illness, and close quarters can create a particularly dangerous, toxic manifestation of hate in confined spaces like shelters. But I convinced Jesse to help us, let us help him connect him with some integrated services through what we bureaucratically call case management. Jesse left the shelter after lunch. He tried to make himself inconspicuous in the library during daylight hours and slept in the church stairwell at night. In the morning, he would walk back to shelter to get some coffee and get any available updates on his services. He continued this routine, walking down the street, passing by people going about their day, as he pulled the duffel of his belongings and carried the ashes of the love of his life. Over time, Jesse and I developed a rapport, a sense of trust as we trudged through mundane transactions. As with so many people who experienced the traumatic effects of their worlds coming apart, Jesse had lost the basic documentation fundamental to navigating bureaucracies in America. We applied for a copy of his birth certificate, replacements of his Social Security card and his driver's license. We got him a phone and helped him get back on his prescription medications. Jesse had served his country for a brief time, so he applied for a copy of his military discharge certificate. After a week or so, Jesse had agreed to sleep in the shelter's overflow space on a night-by-night basis, and he started interacting with others during meal times and smoke breaks. As he predicted, he did experience some racism, and he returned to sleeping outside a few times to avoid escalations. But after a few more weeks, as the weather turned colder, Jesse accepted our offer of a temporary transitional cot space. Within another few weeks, we received a copy of Jesse's DD-214s, the military discharge paperwork, the certificate that was his golden ticket that opened up considerable benefits for Jesse. Vermont's Office of Veteran Affairs stepped up to manage Jesse's case, and over the winter, Jesse's health stabilized to the point that he was able to start preparing for a job. And then Jesse moved into a veterans home where he was in a caring network with wraparound access to counseling and other services. Eventually, having secured enough financial support, the VA helped Jesse get an apartment in a communal living space. Here's an email I got shortly thereafter. It says, "Hi, Tom. Got my keys. Signed my lease today. Thanks for everything. Peace, brother." I'm still in touch with Jesse, not his real name, and he knows we're thinking about him today. I'll be calling him this afternoon to check in, and I'll be sure to send your best wishes. What words or phrases come to mind as you think about this story, as you characterize this story in your heart and mind? Just shout out some words that come to mind. Lonely, empathy, connection, chance, resilience, compassion, despair, fear. Jesse's story stirs our compassion. Empathy pulls us closer to this story of a person in an intersection of cross-flowing loss, injustice, and systemic failures. I'm not sure what kind of story that church member who approached me so long ago wanted to hear. He might have been expecting a scriptural parable or a narrative from a long time ago. We all know those kinds of stories, powerful ones that storytellers have been telling for millennia so that the faithful might discover their purpose anew, find meaning with others, and connect with that which transcends as valuable and true. But perhaps stories closer to home, stories that don't often get told by voices we don't often hear, are no less sacred. And perhaps Harari was half right. Perhaps storytelling is part of our superpower. But maybe the way we listen and the way we hear the story is the other part. For tens of thousands of years, we've been telling each other stories, often evoking emotions, gathering groups of like-minded members, encouraging cooperation and action. But we process stories with our limited senses, our particular life stances and our group affinities, conscious opinions and unconscious bias. Just as stories can foster compassion and cooperation, we know that people sometimes use stories to categorize and separate people and communities one from another, sometimes stoking grievances and fear with their perspectives, real or manufactured, but always incomplete. Does anyone know an example of a leader who fans the flames of division and fear? Stories that divide communities? We're not going to be duped by those kinds of stories, right? What if I told you a story about another life? But maybe your introduction to this story came from the police log in your local paper, making it clear that there's, a police log that refers to unhoused community members, sometimes as unwanted persons, making it clear that there's a category of person who should not occupy the same community spaces that we do. Now you could say, hey Tom, this person is in the police log because they committed crimes. They destroyed property, maybe even your property. Other members of her community are disturbing folks trying to transact business or enjoy a meal in a restaurant. And I would agree. We are a justice-seeking people who honor the interdependence of our lives and our stories, and we must all be accountable. And then I might ask you, if you're open to hearing the rest of the story. If you'd be interested in hearing about what she's like when she's sheltered and able to take a warm shower, maybe put on a pair of clean socks, when she's connected with people who care in a healing environment, when she's able to sustain treatment for a complexity of illnesses that have ravaged the dreams she's had for her life. If you are with her as she stabilizes, if you lean in to listen after she's had her chance to reassemble her psyche, she might tell you the story of a life nobody writes about in the paper. Yes, buried in a mountain of regret and shame, she'll apologize. She'll spare you the parts describing the trauma and abuse, and mostly she'll tell you how much she loves her kids and misses her dad. If you look into her eyes rather than just glancing away, you'll see in her eyes someone's little girl who, despite all the trauma and abuse and mistakes that would kill most of us, still embodies a sense of gratitude and an awareness of what love means and what grace really is. She returns to what Bell Hooks calls the mindful remembering to help her put the broken bits and pieces of her heart back together. I've been thinking about our faith and relationships to stories, and I was remembering something that happened at a recent community event. A large, angry-looking white man drove up in a pickup truck. When he got out, I could see he was wearing a red "Make America Great Again" cap. He marched up to this multicultural gathering of adults and children. Here we go, I thought to myself. But then I watched 3 little girls run up to him and pull him over to the pizza and lemonade. After the girls went back to play with Amaya and some other kids, the MAGA hat-wearing grandpa invited us to know part of his story. Turns out he was angry at himself for being late because he'd promised his granddaughters he'd be there on time. He was late because he couldn't leave the new farm job he'd taken on to make ends meet now that he was the primary caregiver for his daughter's kids. I got to listen to him hold forth about how smart and kind his grandkids are, a brag not unlike the ones I hear in coffee hour here. He said they take after his daughter, the mom of the girls, who was on the road to recovery, the same journey so many of us take after consuming substances to numb the pain of loss and escape the black dog of depression. He reflected on how in awe he was of her and how hard it was and how hard she was trying. We may not like the choice of his headwear, and the bumper stickers on his pickup truck won't match the ones on your EV. But this equally worthy man who was living through dysfunction that rivals anything in the Old Testament embodies what it means to be faithful and loving. Sometimes if we listen, the people you least expect turn out to be oracles. Messengers of truth, hard learned through the reality of their experiences that help us rediscover our purpose and teach us the importance of connection and relationships. When we resist the impulse to listen autobiographically, when we center the dignity of others, we hear and see what may not break through the day-to-day circumstances of most of our lives. I know that I am currently in a room full of people who demonstrate their faith every day. Many of you serving the communities marginalized. You show us what it means when social justice is more than a lifestyle, it's a life. You demonstrate that when we connect and listen and relate through our faith rather than our judgment or our fears, our perspectives broaden and our hearts soften. And then when we work together as people of faith in our community of communities, we transform the world one life at a time. And then there's love. Did you hear it in the stories? The kind of love that showed up next to Jesse's bed when he was coming out of surgery. The love that a little girl can remember and hold on to because it might just get her through another day. Love that pauses only long enough to remind us that our craving for control is born not of freedom, but of fear. And it's a burden we really should lay down. The suffering it creates impedes our co-liberation and the transformation we claim to seek. Not just the love that calls us in, but the love that calls us out of our bubbles and away from our echo chambers, to hear and connect with those who embody circumstances or cultures different from our own. Love that shows up at a pizza party in our community of communities disguised in a questionable red hat. Love that does not wring its hands but rolls up its sleeves. Love that shows up to serve meals. Love that marches. Love that educates and advocates. Love that welcomes and creates safe spaces. Love that heals and redeems. And if we choose it, love that will move against fear and alienation. The choice of love is a choice to connect, to find ourselves in the lives of others. May it be so.
I wasn't going to. Can everybody hear or not? Someone may have to help me here. Oh, that works now? I got to stand back or forward. And then I squeeze it. Great. I wasn't going to say anything, but when I was asked to sing this, I said, yeah, it's a nice song. And I'm like, I don't wonder why. Having listened to your words, I understand this song differently. In a lullaby, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the skies are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Birds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? Oh, why?
Thank you, Paul. Our closing words today are from the medieval mystic Meister Eckhart. The light of truth is within each one of us. and it is love that draws person to person. Grace translates that love to human experience, and grace is always found in becoming. May it be so. Blessed be.
So we can unmute our audio now.